The morning mist coiled off Willow Lake, my lake, as I stood on my dock, staring at the half-submerged wreckage of my beloved boat, Serenity. Its elegant wooden frame, my pride for years, was ruined, the water lapping at its hull. This wasn't petty vandalism. It was a calculated act of war from the Willow Shores Homeowners Association, led by the insufferable Karen Whitaker. They thought they could bully me into submission, but they'd forgotten who controlled the river feeding their pristine little enclave. I was about to remind them, in a way they'd never forget, what it meant to cross someone with the keys to their watery doom. For 2 decades, I'd lived on this land, long before Willow Shore's gaudy sprawl of identical mansions crowded across the lake. My grandfather bought this entire tract in the 1950s, including Willow Lake and the Stone River Dam upstream. The dam, a relic of his unrealized hydroelectric dreams, gave our family unmatched control over the water. I inherited it all, the solitude, the responsibility, and serenity, my classic runabout, moored at my private dock, a silent partner in countless sunset evenings. The trouble began with a letter, not a neighborly note, but a pompous demand from the HOA. Willow Shores, barely 18 months old, was already drunk on its own authority. The letter, stamped with their absurdly aggressive willow tree logo, claimed my boat was an unapproved watercraft, harming their community's aesthetic harmony and property values. They gave me 7 days to remove it. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. My boat, on my lake, affecting their beige utopia? The nerve was staggering. I dug out my deeds, which clearly showed I owned the entire lake, its bed, and the shoreline. I even had the dam's original purchase agreement. I sent copies to their gated entrance with a polite note explaining their error, assuming that would end it. I was wrong. A week later, Karen Whitaker, HOA president and self-appointed dictator, responded. Her letter dismissed my documents as outdated and slapped a $50 fine for noncompliance. Karen, I'd learned, thrived on petty power trips, her identity tied to enforcing pointless rules. She offered no dialogue, just doubled down. My amusement curdled into anger. This wasn't about aesthetics, it was about control. Karen saw my lake as her personal fiefdom, and I was the peasant who needed taming. The harassment escalated. A second letter upped the fine to $100 and criticized my grandfather's hand-built dock as an unauthorized structure. A grainy photo of Serenity, likely snapped from their side with a telephoto lens, came with it. They were spying on me, trying to enforce rules on land they didn't own. I called my lawyer, Tom Reynolds, a property law expert with a knack for dismantling nonsense. He chuckled when I mentioned Karen, noting her recent attempt to find a neighbor for overly vibrant tulips. Tom drafted a cease and desist letter, citing my deeds and warning of legal consequences for harassment. We sent it certified mail, expecting Karen to back off. She didn't. Instead, Karen, her husband Mark, and a lackey named Steve showed up on my property, striding down my driveway like they owned it. Karen, clutching a clipboard like a scepter, radiated smug authority. "Mr. Carter," she declared, "your watercraft violates our standards." I kept my cool, reiterating that the lake was mine, their rules irrelevant. Mark, a puffed-up man in a tight polo, scoffed, calling the lake a shared resource. Shared? I nearly laughed. Did they maintain the dam? Pay my taxes? No. Their bylaws, I pointed out, didn't apply beyond their gates. Karen's face tightened, promising I'd hear from them again. They stormed off, but the fines kept coming. $150 for unkempt shoreline wildflowers, $200 for improper dock-colored natural wood. My sanctuary felt like a battlefield. Then they sank Serenity. I found her at dawn, listing heavily, mooring lines cut, seacock deliberately opened. This wasn't an accident, it was sabotage. Fury surged through me. I called the sheriff, but Deputy Harris, bored and skeptical, suggested kids or my own negligence. I knew it was Karen. My security camera footage confirmed it. Karen and Mark, at 2 a.m., tampering with the ropes and wrenching open the seacock. I saved the video, a cold smile forming. This was proof of their crime. Tom was livid, ready to take the footage to the DA, but I wanted more than fines or probation. They'd attacked my property, my peace. They thought their HOA status made them untouchable. They didn't know I held the ultimate trump card, the Stone River Dam. For years, I'd maintained it responsibly, but it was also a weapon. Willow Shores, built on a floodplain, was vulnerable. Karen wanted my lake? I'd give her more water than she could handle. I spent days at the dam's control house, a concrete bunker reeking of grease. I studied schematics, flow rates, and old surveys confirming the HOA's low-lying lots, especially Karen's, were at risk. My grandfather's water rights gave me broad authority to adjust the dam for safety. With heavy rains forecast, I'd open the sluice gate, framing it as a necessary release to prevent dam failure. I faked maintenance logs, noting silt buildup and pressure concerns, building a paper trail. The video of Karen's sabotage was my insurance. The rains came, a steady downpour saturating the ground. On the third day, I turned the dam's iron wheel, the gate groaning as water roared through. It wasn't a deluge, but a controlled surge, raising Willow Lake's levels. From my hilltop home, I watched through binoculars. By afternoon, the lake crept into Willow Shore's manicured lawns. Their imported beach vanished. Their gazebos stood in shallow pools. Karen's rose garden, her pride, was drowning. Residents milled about, confused, blaming the weather. My phone stayed silent. They hadn't connected the dots. By day 2, panic set in. The HOA's boat ramp was submerged. Roads turned to canals. Karen's basement was flooding, her furniture floating. A U-Haul got stuck in a cul-de-sac, news vans circled, but the HOA's guards turned them away. My logs documented a safety release for unprecedented rainfall, perfectly legal. Tom got word that Karen was raging at the county, who cited my dam management and the floodplain's risks. She called Tom, accusing me, but he countered with the boat footage. She hung up, defeated. On day 4, with the rain gone, I eased the dam's flow, letting the lake recede. The damage was catastrophic. Mud-coated lawns, ruined roads, drowned landscaping. Insurance companies, citing floodplain clauses, denied claims. The HOA's funds were gutted. Karen faced a resident uprising, her presidency collapsing. She and Mark sold their waterlogged home at a loss, pleading guilty to vandalism for sinking Serenity. They paid fines and restitution, which funded Serenity 2, a stunning new boat. Willow Shores was humbled, their arrogance washed away. No more fines, no more demands. Some residents, free from Karen's reign, offered shy waves. The 100-year flood became local legend, a warning against overreaching. As I glide on Serenity 2, the lake gleaming, I glance at their scarred shoreline. They tried to control my world. Instead, the water taught them who truly ruled. If you're battling a power-hungry HOA, know your rights, document everything, and never underestimate the power of a well-timed wave.